A couple days back, I wrapped up my incredible trip to Guadalajara and Mexico City, Mexico. It was by far my most eye-opening and life-changing trip so far in my life. This is for many reasons, though it did also include some great roller coaster rides. For those of you interested in any of the cultural, architecture, or food-related stuff, I have a travel vlog that I just released and it's literally one of my best videos ever. But for this one, we'll be strictly taking a look into one topic, which are the scream machines of Mexico. I feel like many non-coaster enthusiasts would be surprised to find that there's some pretty good stuff here. So if you are one of those people, I look forward to blowing your mind in today's video. Now, other than a few decent family rides and a knockoff aero looper scattered throughout the country, there are some honorable mentions that should be thrown in here. During my trip, we were able to check out Selva Mágica, Six Flags Mexico, and Kataplum. Only thing is, I walked away missing at least one credit per park. At Selva Mágica, it was Titan, their jet coaster, which was under maintenance, and also their other signature rides, Jubilee and Tornado, have been standing but not operating for numerous years. At Six Flags Mexico, their indoor Wild Mouse Dark Knight coaster was closed due to the ongoing COVID-19 pandemic. And lastly, Kataplum's spinning Wild Mouse coaster that goes by the name of Carros Locos valleyed and got stuck, so we never got to ride that. But generally speaking, I did get on everything I wanted to ride, so it's the reason I'll be making a somewhat complete list out of this topic. It also may be important to keep in mind that Zombie Ride at Bosquemagicomty in Monterrey exists, but I did not get to ride that either. This trip to Mexico did not include Monterrey, though it does look like a pretty cool city, and I would like to check it out someday. Fortunately though, Zombie Ride is just a clone, albeit the best iteration of the Skyrocket 2s built by Premier Rides. So it's not like I'm missing out on too much, though I wanted to mention it just so that you guys aren't expecting it in the list. So all things considered, I received 11 rare credits, and while that doesn't seem like much on the surface, I promise you that this was more about the quality than quantity. So without further ado, let's dive right into my top 10 roller coasters that I got to ride in Mexico. Number 10, Choo Choo at Kataplum. This coaster is probably one of the tamest I've ever ridden. It's arguably tamer than some kiddie coasters I've been on. But where I find this coaster kind of interesting is in its sheer uniqueness. The manufacturer, SBF Visa, only ever built two monorail coasters, one being this and the other being built at some random park in Germany. Plus you've got to think that it's not meant to be anything more than a family attraction. Heck, its model name is the monorail coaster, so I suppose its main purpose is just to give a view of your surroundings, which in that regard it's actually a decent ride. But other than those two things, it wasn't special by any means, just another SBF coaster. Number 9, Boomerang at Six Flags Mexico. Guys, I'm not usually one to complain about any roughness or shakiness, but this was one of the most brutal I've ever experienced. Opening in 1984 at a now defunct amusement park in Puebla, this coaster was actually the first Vekoma Boomerang to ever be built, alongside Boomerang at Loran and Boomerang at Bellewaerde. So I suppose that kind of explains why it's by a long shot the roughest of the Boomerangs I've ridden, but dang, even for me it was a little much. I did at least like the purple color scheme and views you get on the first lift hill, but yeah, other than that, there wasn't a whole lot of redeeming qualities here. Definitely a one and done attraction. Number 8, Tsunami at Six Flags Mexico. Yes, I put a Zero Tivoli over a Boomerang, but shockingly this was the best of its ride type I've experienced. For one, it was surprisingly smooth, and although you wouldn't expect it, it offered some pretty fair laterals too. But my favorite thing about it was probably the theming. The trains are super cool looking, and I like the part where you thread through one of the rocks. Still though, it is a tame family coaster, so I can only put it so high on this list. But this will probably be one of the only times I put a ride this tame over just about anything extreme. So there you go, I guess you have that going for it. Number 7, Insomnio at Kataplum. From here on out, we get into the coasters that are really worth talking about. This one is a replica of Freedom Flyer at Fun Spot America in Orlando, Florida, though I do like this one better and here's why. Following the ride's first drop, you have a hill that's literally off the side of the mall. Which, by the way, yes, this park is situated on top of a mall. It's all sorts of weird, I know. And even for the elements that aren't particularly unique on this ride, I found it a whole lot of fun to just fly over the pathways, and you also pull some pretty solid G's on that last helix. For those of you who have ridden Freedom Flyer at Fun Spot, I'm sure you know exactly what I'm talking about there. Primarily though, this coaster was the main reason for me to head out to Kataplum, but considering how fun and smooth it was, I actually say that it made the visit quite worth it. Number 6, Wonder Woman at Six Flags Mexico. I think a lot of enthusiasts forget about this ride, but Golden Lasso Coaster at Fiesta, Texas is not the only Wonder Woman themed coaster at a Six Flags park. Opening relatively recently in 2018, this SNS 40 free spin coaster could be found at many of the other Six Flags parks around the world. But for two reasons in specific, I actually do not mind that there's one here. First off, there's no other ride quite like it in Mexico, not even to mention all of Latin America. And two, I actually really enjoyed these rides. I don't know why free spins get so much hate because cloning an attraction doesn't really make a ride worse for me. It can get repetitive, but whatever. I've always been able to get a kick out of the intense flipping, and this one especially has a nice vibe to it with that soundtrack and theming in the entrance. Though even if you don't like how these are cloned so often, I think you should cut some slack on Six Flags Mexico's free spin because it is pretty unique to the area. Number 5, Joker at Six Flags Mexico. This is a coaster that definitely exceeded my expectations. Where I went in expecting one of your typical Pandemonium clones that you can find at all the other Six Flags parks, I instead walked away with a trimless, well-themed original layout version. This was much better than the Pandemoniums, and that's not to say that I don't like those rides, because I do, but this thing is faster, more intense, and far more memorable. I would personally go as far as to call Joker a thrill coaster, whereas Pandemonium can be seen as an upper tier family coaster in terms of intensity. So that, my friends, is a big compliment to an attraction that really caught me by surprise. But let's get into the number 4 spot for yet another coaster that really caught me by surprise. Number 4, Batman the Ride at Six Flags Mexico. I know, it's a Vekoma SLC, how could it be in the top 5 on this list? Well, the reason being is that it's actually shockingly smooth. I'm not kidding, guys, you can actually enjoy the highly intense layout without getting your head smashed to oblivion. It's a lot of fun getting to do so, and it's something I've always wanted to experience, because the only reason these rides have a poor reputation is because they're seen as rough. However, I would actually recommend giving this one a go, even if you typically skip Vekoma SLCs. This one is not as bad as the others, so much so that I walked away really enjoying it. Number 3, Bullet at Selva Mágica. I'm not going to say too much about Bullet in this video because I'll have a separate review coming sometime soon, but to put it in short, this ride is flat out awesome. It's actually everything I was hoping it would be and more, as it offers an intense but not overly intense ride experience. Instead, it's just enough to where you can really enjoy the ride and appreciate its compact elements, though you do still get some mild grayouts in the valleys. I really love this ride's pace and speed, and I thought the inversion was also fun in both directions, and the near misses were crazy. All things considered though, I'm forever grateful to have ridden this coaster. Very few enthusiasts can say they've done so, and believe me when I say it made going out to Guadalajara more than worth it. Number 2, Superman El Último Escape at Six Flags Mexico. Sticking at Six Flags for the top 2 on this list, we're going to briefly talk about what is, in my opinion, the best Morgan coaster in the world. I know it may be hard to believe, but take it from a guy who adores Phantom's Revenge, loves Steel Eel, and has ridden most of the other hypers they've done. I truthfully think that Superman is the king of their rides, really providing any and every sensation you could possibly want on a hyper coaster. You've got some insane airtime, some even crazier laterals, the positives, the speed, the pre-lift, the lack of trims, they're all there too. There is just so much to love about this ride that I could not help myself to get back in line all the time. If you do head out to the park soon, try Superman once in the very front and once in the very back. That's my best recommendation because those two are the best seats in the house and they both provide very different experiences. Awesome, 10 out of 10 coaster, it makes my top 20 I've ever ridden. Number 1, Medusa Steel Coaster at Six Flags Mexico. Of course the RMC takes the top spot. Could it really be anything else? I mean, depending on what you look for, I could actually see Superman being number 1, but as a guy who's looking for the most fast-paced experiences, I think Medusa more than deserves this ranking. I currently place it in my overall top 15 for its incredible airtime, its unreal pacing, and its sequence of elements. When you get out to ride this thing, trust me in waiting till the sun sets to truly depict your opinion on it. It turns so much faster, the atmosphere changes, it's just absolutely incredible at that time. I will never forget how surreal and how unbelievably amazing my rides on Medusa were, and I'm forever grateful for the opportunity to check out a big bucket list coaster in Mexico City. Thank you all so much for watching today's video. As you can see, especially from the rides at the top of the list, Mexico's collection of coasters focuses quite a bit more on quality rather than quantity. So with that, along with how rare and undocumented some of these attractions are, I'd highly recommend a trip to this wonderful country. And if the coasters really aren't enough to make you do it, I'm sure this, and this will make it more than worth it for you. Thank you all again for watching today's video. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe if you wish to see more content like this, and I will see you all in the next video. Bye guys.